We want to welcome you to AVA Gallery in Lebanon, New Hampshire for the exhibition Inner Soul, the sculptural work of Lawrence J. Nowlan, Jr. Larry Nowlan came from Philadelphia. He grew up there where he attended college as a graduate of Millersville in 1987. He later went on to be an art director in a marketing firm in Philadelphia. And in 1993, attended the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts for sculpture. He came to sculpture almost as a mistake. He happened to be walking down the Benjamin Franklin Turnpike one day and noticed Augustus Saint-Gaudens' Thinker. He had never really noticed it before, but he became intrigued with it, went in, saw the museum, and came out a sculptor. He came out with a passion to do that himself. So he attended classes and then eventually went on to New York City, to the New York Academy, where he got an MA in sculpture. He was going to be continuing on in Philadelphia, but then something happened. In 1995, he received a call to come to Cornish, New Hampshire to be the sculptor in residence at the St. Gaudens National Historic Site, the only national park in New Hampshire. He came for what he thought was a summer job, but it turned out to be a lifetime career. He was the sculptor in residence from 1995 to 1997, and then came back again in 2002 and 2003. He settled in Windsor, Vermont, where he had his first studio, and he continued to work there till the end of his life. Eventually he lived in Cornish, New Hampshire. He met his wife, and they started a family. Larry was an artist of a different kind of a style. He was a very contemporary artist, but working in a very classical, traditional mode. He always liked the human figure. He was a natural athlete, and he put that into his work. He concentrated on the human form. He learned everything he could about the human form itself, but then he put that into motion in his sculpture. And he had a way of including a very great detail in his style, but also a kind of a heart and soul in it as well. Larry completed work in Windsor, the War Memorial in the park in Windsor. He also, while he was working in Windsor, completed a figure of Jackie Gleason for Port Authority Bus Terminal in New York City, and other pieces as well. Larry was an artist who learned from his experience at St. Gaudens. Although he did full figure work, he also was a master of low-relief sculpture, a form that's very difficult and almost never done, even now, because it is so difficult. It's hardly taught, because most people can't ever get the hang of it. He learned it exclusively from his time here. He had never done it before he came here, but he became one of the best in the country at it. And his low-relief portrait sculptures are found throughout the country and even overseas. The largest concentration of them are in California, in Napa Valley, at the Vintners Hall of Fame, but they're everywhere. Larry concentrated on figures of sports heroes. He did many for the University of Iowa, Niall Kinnock, their Heisman Trophy winner, two larger-than-life figures for the football stadium. He also did pieces of other sports figures there. Jack Sieg, who was a swimmer, invented the butterfly stroke, and Dan Gable, the wrestling coach. Toward the end of his life, Larry was working on a number of sports figures. He had completed the monument to Harry Callis in Citizens Bank Park, which was a major public outpouring of interest. which led to that monument being created.
We are honored to present the Harry Palace Memorial Statue.
He had also been commissioned to create a monument for the city of Philadelphia of the great boxer Joe Frazier. He was excited to get that work, and it was something that was cut short by his early death. He was also, at the end of his life, working on a number of other pieces. Here in New Hampshire, he completed a figure of a wildcat, a logo mascot for a private school, the Kimball Union Academy. That was actually the last installation that he attended. And then posthumously installed was a figure of welcoming Christ, which he was doing for his high school, the Archbishop John Carroll High School in Radnor, Pennsylvania. He was a very empathetic, heartfelt man with a deep soul, and that's what we remember him for.